Very good morning, students. Let us start the program number 8, which is there in Mobile Application Development Lab, which is given in VTU syllabus. So in the VTU syllabus, they have given, you have to design an mobile application. See, they have given, create an activity like phone dialer with call and save buttons. On pressing the call button, it must call the phone number, and on pressing the save button, it must save the number to the phone contacts. This is the given question, and you can see the design. So here call and save application will be, you should add the text view, and to dial the number, you should have the phone component. And there are three main indirect methods which we'll be using here. One is delete button, or you can also use it as clear button. When the user enters the number, when you click the delete button, the complete number should be erased from here. It should be deleted. It should be cleared. And when the user enters the contact number, and if they press the call button, it should call. When the user press the save button, it should save the number to the phone contacts. So similarly, like how we work in everyday application, like how we clear, we call and we save, the similar application we have to create. So this is the given question. Now in order to perform this, first we have to do the design. As you all know that firstly we have to create an application name with call activity. Okay, any convenient name user can give. And once you create the application name, as we all know that XML code and Java code will get generated, auto-generated code will be generated. You have to move to the XML code in the design part. There you have to change the code. In the code, you have to change the layout to relative layout so that you can fix the cursor with respect to two sides. Once you are done with that, next you have to add the text view component. Okay, and once you add the text view component, fix the relative position, give the size as 38 dp, give the text name as call activity, any convenient name. You can give any convenient name and align it to center. Next, you should add the edit text. That means you should add the phone number as a component, and these are the attributes you have to remember. Text, you should make it as empty. Hint, you should give enter the phone number, and you should remember the ID. Once you are done with that, you have to add three buttons. One is clear button, one is call button, and one more is save button. So these are the buttons you need to add: clear, call, and save button. Once you are done with that, you have to remember the IDs. For clear button, you can change and you can refactor as clear button. For call button, you should remember the ID and you can refactor it as call button. And for save button, you can give save button. Once you are done by adding three buttons, then for the phone numbers, you have to dial the numbers. For that purpose, you have to add these buttons with respect to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0, hash and star. So these are the 12 buttons. So totally you have 15 buttons, students. And one edit text component, that is your phone number, and one more is text view. These are the components or the objects you need to add in the design part, and you should remember the IDs of each and every component. Once you are done with the design part, like how the design will appear, now next you have to move to the Java part. Initially in the Java part, as you all know that we work with the Java for the operation purpose. Here what operation we have to do? We have to, when the user clicks the clear, it has to clear the phone number. When the user clicks the save button, it has to go perform the calling. When the user selects the save button, it has to save the phone number to the phone contacts. So in order to perform these operations, firstly in Java, like it will be auto-generated, you have to declare the variables. So here edit text phone number is the, edit text is the class. Any convenient variable you can give. So here edit text is the built-in class, phone number, edit text is the variable. Similarly, button is the built-in class which will be working with the button. Clear button, call button, save button are the variables. These are the variables which will be used inside the program. Once you're done with the variable declaration, now here, next you have to remember the component IDs by using find view by ID. Once you identify the components, next you have to work with indirect method. Here there are three indirect methods, students. One is clear button set on click listener. We will be working with the clear button. So for that you have to write set on click listener, because when user clicks the clear button, okay, this is the logic which is going to work. So here you all can see all this will be auto generated and on click will be overridden. So here you all can see we are using the edit text variable dot set text. Set text is a method. See here we have not passed any value. It's a null value. That means that complete edit text box will be made it as null. It will clear completely when you write the double quotes. This is one line simple logic to perform the clear button. Next you have, like I told you, you have to add the IDs. You have to identify the components. So like call button will be identified with respect to this particular ID, save button will be identified by this ID, and clear button. You have to identify the components before performing, before calling this on click listener, you have to pass the IDs. Next logic you have is the call logic. When the user clicks the on click listener, that means when the user clicks the call button, this logic will work. Call button is a variable, set on click listener is the method. So when the user clicks this, overridden method on click will be auto generated. So here what we are doing, whatever the phone number you have identified with respect to the component here, that will be in the form of text. You have to get the text and you have to convert that to string, and you have to store it in the string variable. Here string variable is phone number. And since when the user clicks the phone, once the user enters the number, when the user clicks the phone, okay, so here you have to call the implicit intent auto generated. See here you have to call the implicit intent. So therefore, in order to call the implicit intent, you have to call the action here. So once the user reads the number as entered, so get the text and convert it to string. Here we refer it as number. So here we use the implicit intent. Intent is the class and intent is the variable. New will dynamically allocate the memory. So here for the implicit intent, we refer the action. It should dial that particular number in phone dialog. So that phone dialog should appear right. So we have to call the implicit intent. So that is why you have to give here intent dot action dial. Next, I will call telephone protocol with number to make a call. So here you have to give intent is a variable, set data is a method. We need to call the Android package. So URI is the Android package. By adding the protocol tell along with the user entered number. So you have to call the Android package. That is your network, Android network you're going to call. Passing is nothing but to that particular category you're passing the data. So here you are adding the protocol TEL and you're concatenating with the user entered number. So as you all know that wherever there is an intent, without starting the activity, that particular page will not appear. So you have to add this start activity. So similar, like once you're done with this, so automatically when the user clicks the call button, when the user enters the phone number, clicks the call button, automatically inbuilt intent will be generated and phone number will be set by using the set data. It will be called. Next you have, next action listener you have for the save button. So save button, as you all know that save button should save the contacts to the should be saved. Where it should be inserted? It should be inserted in the contact contracts. So automatically contact contracts package will get imported. So when the user clicks the save button, set on click listener, overridden on-click method will be auto-generated. So whatever the text you are entering, get that number, get the text and convert that to string. Next, later again here we are calling the inbuilt intent. Here inbuilt intent, we are passing the action as insert. Why? Because we are performing, we are calling the, like we are inserting the phone number. So you should insert into Android content provider. So you should insert, where you should insert? You should insert it into Android content provider. That is why you should write set type and put extras, contact contacts dot intent, insert phone number. So this, whatever the phone number you are entering, that will be stored in the phone inbuilt intent. So for that purpose, you have to use these two methods. And once you start the intent, you should compulsory use start activity, so that whatever the number you are entering, it will be saved. And one more direct method you have to use. So here we have used one more direct method. Input number is the direct method. So when the user clicks any of the button, it should be viewed. And see, here we are using two strings. One is digit and one more is the phone number. Why we use digit means when the user clicks any of the number or any of the button from 1 to 0, it should get that string, it should get that text and it should be convert that to string, and it will be stored in digit. Initially in the phone number, nothing, no value will be there, it will be null. So you will get that value and you will convert that to string, and you're going to store it in phone number. Finally, what you're doing, set text is the method. You're concatenating whatever the initial value that is there with the digit. So whatever the number you are pressing, so you have to give on click with respect to all the buttons for direct method. So this phone number initially it will be null and it will get concatenated with the digit. So that is why we use this direct method. Call, save and clear are the indirect method which we use in this program. And before that you have to call the components. You have to identify the components. So this is the explanation with respect to PPT. We'll see now practically. As you all know that you have to go to file. So open the Android Studio. Once you open the Android Studio, select file, select new project. So give the convenient name, select empty activity. Give next. Give the application name as call application or call activity, and language should be set to Java. Give finish. Once you are done with this, two supporting files will be generated. One is, so it is taking some time. One is XML file and one more is Java file. So go to the XML file. Once you, first step we have created the application name. Second step you have to go to XML code. So the supporting files are loading. So as you all see what I have done here, I have moved to the XML code and I have changed that to relative layout. So here, so relative layout you have to set, that is your second step. And the third step, what you have done, move to the design part. In the design part, first you should drag and drop the text view. And for the text view, you have to give the name as, attribute name as, see here for the text. First I have dragged and dropped the text view and I have given the name as call application. And you have to identify the ID of this component. Okay, next you give convenient size. Your convenient size here I have given 34. We'll see what is the ID I have given for that text view component. Edit text phone. Edit text phone will be the text view component. I have refactored it. Next, you have to select the phone. You have to select the next component as phone. Drag and drop the phone so that this component will get added. Here, text you make it as empty and give the hint as enter phone number. And make the text as, so actually we work with this component. We don't work with this call application. So you need not remember the ID. We work with this component where the user will enter the phone number. That phone number will appear here. So for this, you should remember the ID. So here the ID for this number is edit text phone. So text you make it as empty and give the hint as enter phone number and give the size, text size. Once you're done with this, now drag and drop the button. So it is there in the palette area. One button for clear. So text name you give it as clear and ID you refactor to clear button. Next, copy paste and change the name. See here, call, same button, give the call. And ID you make it as call button. Similarly, copy paste with respect to save or drag and drop the button. Give the text name as save and identify the ID save button. These are the three indirect methods which we are going to work with respect to on-click listener. Once you are done, similarly drag and drop, drop the button 1, give the text name as 1. And on click, you have to give the direct method as input number. The same method, whatever you have declared there. This attribute you have to give compulsory. So give the text name as 1. And ID is button 2. Similarly, copy paste, arrange from number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0 and star and hash. So like this, for each and every button, give the text name with respect to numbers and give on click with respect to the method input number for all the buttons. Once you are done with this, your design will be ready. Now move to the Java part. In the Java part, first what I have done, I have declared the variables. Edit text is the class name, E is the variable. Button is the class name, clear, call, save are the variables which I have declared which is required for my program. Once that is being done, what I have done, I have called, how do I identify the components? I can identify the components by using find view by ID method. So whatever the component that is there, the same ID I have used. See for this edit text, the ID is edit text phone number. You have to remember this. So when you're typing automatically, edit text phone will appear. Similarly, clear is a variable, find view by ID. It will identify that component. Call, it will identify the call component. Save, it will identify the save component. Now, once you're done with that, now we'll perform the indirect method. So here in this program, we have 3 indirect methods. One is clear, one more is call, and one more is save. And one more we have the direct method as input number. So we'll see what exactly the clear indirect method is doing. Once the user clicks the clear button, automatically set on click listener will get initiated. It will override on click. And here the user has set the text and they have made it as null so that it will clear complete phone number which is there in the edit text area. So this is single line syntax where user can easily analyze this and they can identify. Next, we have call. In the call, when the user clicks the button, set on click listener will get called and it will override the on click method. So whatever the user is entering, that number, phone number, get the text and convert that to string. Get the text and convert that to string and it will be stored in a string called number. So next we are calling the implicit intent. So where we are going to pass we are refer the action so that it should dial to that particular phone a particular number in the phone dialog. So that is why you have to call the implicit intent action dial. So intent is the class name, intent is the object, new will dynamically allocate the memory, intent is the method, you are calling the action. So that whatever the number you are entering, it should appear in the phone dialog. What data you are passing for that intent, you have to set the data. URI is the Android package. You are going to pass whatever the number. So by adding the protocol telephone, like tel along with the number, um, it will get concatenated. So once you're going to use the intent, you have to call the start activity. So compulsory you have to use the start activity method. Next you have save. When the user clicks the save method, so action listener for the save button will be called and on click will be overwritten. Whatever the user is entering that number, you should get that number and you have to convert that to string. So next you have to call the implicit intent, which is inbuilt. Here you have to call the action as action insert. Why? Because user is inserting the value. So content type is the MIME, where you are going to get the complete package, how to store the contact into the contacts package. So put text as means you are inserting the phone number and you are saving in this path. So that is why it is contract.intents.insert phone. So what exactly you are inserting? Phone number. So that is why you have to use put extras. You are saving the contact number. Once you save the contact number, you should start the activity by calling the intent. So once it is been done, next you have to use the input method, which is direct method. So whatever the button you are entering, it should be viewed or visible. So whatever the number you are entering, get that text and convert that to string and store it into digit. So if I press, that button will be viewed and it will be stored in digit. Initially the phone number will be null. Get that value and convert that to string. So what we are doing, set text will concatenate that null value with the digit so that the digit will appear. So we'll run this program so that you all can see. So when the user runs the program, this is the output which you are going to arrive. So like how I have designed completely, it has arrived like this. So here, see, on click input number is working. So it is taking some time. See, when the user is pressing 1, input number is arriving here. This is arriving because of this direct method. On click, we have given input number, the same method. So button is getting viewed and it is getting converted to digit. Initially, the phone number, nothing is there. Null value will get concatenated with the digit. So I am pressing this on click. It's working with respect to numbers. See, if I click clear, it will get cleared. It will get deleted. So clear, it is getting deleted. Next, if I enter the number, if I call, the implicit intent, automatically it will appear. Action, call. So we are inserting, we are calling action dial. We are calling action dial. So when the user clicks, so it will dial. Next, you should save the contact. You can save the contact, the contacts. So you can give the number, any convenient number, and you can click save. See, automatically it will be saved. So this is what your program says. Calling application. It is just similar like your mobile phone application, like how in the daily life we perform the calling, saving. clearing. Similarly, we have designed. Hope you all have understood this program. Thank you all. Thank you all, students.